I never thought a routine diplomatic mission would leave me questioning everything I knew about fear, loyalty, and attraction. My name is Kieran Drax, a human envoy traveling the fringes of charted space to negotiate trade agreements with civilizations I barely understood. This time, my destination was the planet Zhalara, a world dominated by a strict alien hierarchy. Power radiated from every chamber in their capital city, but none more intimidating than the Alien Council's main chamber. I had heard the legends. The Zhalari rulers were fierce, cunning, and merciless. Their decisions could elevate entire species, or wipe them from the stars. As I stepped into the council hall, the whispers of advisors and guards faded. The room itself seemed to bow to a single presence, her. She stood at the head of the hall, tall and commanding, her skin a dark iridescent blue that shimmered with her every subtle movement. Her eyes glowed with golden intensity, piercing every corner of the chamber. Even the walls seemed to bend toward her authority. The council members, each imposing in their own right, looked almost fearful in her presence. And yet my attention, somehow, could not leave her eyes. I had been trained to maintain composure, to treat alien delegates as I would any political figure. But from the moment she turned her gaze on me, something shifted. The air around her seemed charged, like static before a storm. Every word she spoke carried weight, and every motion demanded obedience. The room bowed to her dominance, but I was paralyzed, captivated in a way I could not explain. "You are the human envoy," she said, her voice resonant and smooth, yet laced with a sharp edge. "Do you understand the gravity of standing before me?" I swallowed. "Yes, Your Excellency." Her lips curved, ever so slightly, and for the first time, a trace of amusement danced across her features. "Good. Many before you falter under my presence. Few survive the first impression." I felt the council members shift nervously behind her. She dominated the room, yes, but I noticed the subtle glances, the small tremors in their posture, the tiny nods acknowledging her authority. They feared her. They obeyed her. But I couldn't stop staring. Negotiations began, technical details and trade agreements spilling across the chamber like a delicate dance. But my focus remained unwavering on her, the alien ruler who held the room in an iron grip, yet seemed to notice nothing beyond me. I caught fleeting glances of the council, who subtly tried to redirect my attention, but it was futile. I only saw her. By mid-session, tension was rising. A disagreement over resource distribution sparked heated exchanges. The council members argued in sharp clicks and whistles, their voices raising, their bodies leaning aggressively. But she remained still, calm, commanding. One look, and the room fell silent. I felt it. The power she wielded wasn't just in her words or position. It was in her presence. Her presence alone shaped the behavior of everyone in the room. And yet, as all this unfolded, I noticed something unusual. Behind the sharp dominance, behind the fierce, commanding gaze, there was curiosity. Occasionally, her eyes would flick toward me, as if measuring my resolve, weighing my thoughts, probing the depth of my courage. It was terrifying and thrilling all at once. Hours passed. The negotiations stretched longer than anticipated. Exhaustion clawed at me, but I refused to look away. And then it happened. A critical dispute arose, one that could have derailed the entire negotiation. The council demanded an immediate ruling, a decision that could spark conflict if handled incorrectly. She stood, her full height towering over everyone. Silence fell. Her golden eyes locked onto mine, unblinking, piercing through every ounce of trained composure I had. "You will speak," she said, addressing me directly. "Explain your proposal." Do it clearly. Convince us. The room seemed to shrink around us. The council members leaned forward, intrigued. They expected hesitation. They expected faltering, perhaps even failure. I drew a breath. My voice shook at first, but as I outlined the human strategy for equitable resource distribution, I felt something shift. Every argument I made, every solution I proposed, was acknowledged by her. Not the council, her. Her eyes tracked me, unwavering. And with each passing moment, my confidence grew. When I finished, the chamber was silent for a long, heavy heartbeat. Then she spoke. Interesting, she said. Her tone was neutral, yet I sensed approval beneath it. Few humans command words with such clarity. Most crumble, overwhelmed by fear. I swallowed, uncertain how to respond. Stand by your words, she continued, and you may yet see your proposal succeed. And then, something extraordinary happened. The council members, previously tense and guarded, began to nod. Agreements were made. Disputes resolved. Trade pacts secured. And all of it, all the success, traced back to her acknowledgement, a silent validation that carried more weight than any law or decree. After the session ended, I was led to a quieter chamber to debrief. I assumed I would be alone, processing the intensity of the day. But she appeared, alone, without guards. Human, she said softly. You did well today. I blinked. Thank you, Your Excellency. She stepped closer. I felt the room shrink again, the weight of her presence pressing gently, almost imperceptibly, against me. Her eyes glowed. You did not falter in my presence. Most fear me. Most cannot meet my gaze. But you did. I didn't mean to, I stammered, suddenly aware of the pounding of my own heart. Her expression softened, a rare vulnerability showing beneath the mask of dominance. Few see me as I truly am. Most see only the fear I inspire. You looked beyond it. That is rare. Remarkable. I realized then that she wasn't just a ruler. She was a force of nature. A queen, yes, but also someone whose presence could strip pretenses and reveal truths, who demanded honesty even from strangers. And somehow, in that quiet chamber, I felt a connection forming. Not just fear or respect, but something deeper, a human fascination with a being both terrifying and magnetic. I couldn't look away. I didn't want to. I will continue to serve your mission, I said, my voice steadier now. In whatever capacity you need. She studied me for a long moment, her eyes unreadable, before a small smile curved her lips. Good. I will hold you to that. Over the following weeks, I worked closely with her. Negotiations, strategic planning, diplomatic missions. I was constantly in her presence. And with each passing day, I learned to read her subtle cues, her calculated movements, the nuances behind her commanding words. She dominated every situation, every room, yet somehow allowed me glimpses of her thoughtfulness, her curiosity, her humanity beneath the alien exterior. The more I saw her, the more I realized the paradox. She was terrifying, yet captivating. Dominant, yet considerate. Formidable, yet vulnerable in ways she revealed only to me. Months passed. Alliances strengthened. Tensions eased. Conflicts were avoided. And through it all, I remained in her presence, unwavering in my attention. She noticed. Occasionally, her golden eyes would linger on me longer than necessary, and I would feel the weight of acknowledgement, the subtle acceptance of my human resolve. And then came the pivotal moment. An interstellar threat loomed, a coalition of rival species aiming to exploit Zhalara's resources through force. The council panicked, advisors scrambled, and the city braced for war. She summoned me into the war room alone. "Human," she said, voice firm, "your insight will guide this campaign. You understand strategy beyond your species' norms. Use it." I laid out a plan, balancing Zhalara's strengths with human tactics. She listened, silent, eyes glowing, evaluating every word. When I finished, she nodded once, decisively. "So be it. Prepare your forces. We move at first light." The campaign was executed flawlessly. Zhalara's enemies were outmaneuvered, defeated without unnecessary loss. And when the dust settled, I realized something profound. She trusted me. Not as an advisor, not merely as a human, but as someone who had earned a place at her side. Ending. Weeks later, in the aftermath of the conflict, I stood once more in the council chamber. She entered, her presence immediately commanding the room as always. But this time, her gaze met mine first. "You stood by me when others faltered," she said softly, yet firmly. "And in doing so, you have earned more than acknowledgement. You have earned my trust. And perhaps something more." I met her eyes, unflinching, feeling the weight of her power and the gravity of her words. I began, but no words seemed adequate. She smiled faintly, the first truly genuine smile I had seen, and extended her hand. "Walk beside me, human. Not as a servant, not as a subordinate, but as someone I choose to have by my side." In that moment, I understood the truth. She dominated every room, every council, every mind around her. But I saw her, truly. And in seeing her, I found my place, not beneath her, not above, but alongside. From that day forward, we worked together, side by side, navigating the treacherous currents of politics, war, and diplomacy. And in every room she entered, her presence remained as commanding as ever. But now, I was not just an observer. I was part of her world, and she had chosen me. I had entered that council chamber a human envoy, intimidated and uncertain. I left it with a new purpose, a new respect for her unparalleled power, and a connection that bridged species, hearts, and destiny. And through it all, I never stopped looking into her eyes.